Hi, hello everyone, I'm Alice. I mainly create 3D sculpture for 3D printing in my Patreon, and this is the first video where I'm commenting with my own voice. I mean, I'm not using a generated voice, but my actual human voice. I hope you all will forgive any mistakes I might make, since my English is not my first language, but I will do my best. I'm not going to talk much about my process when I'm sculpting Himmel, which you are currently watching in time-lapse, and that's because my process is a little bit chaotic, and honestly, if you are interested in a tutorial or a detailed breakdown of how I work, I will make a completely separate video for that, no problem. This video is more like a background content, like a podcast, and if you will rather focus on the sculpting process, there's another video where I don't talk, just background music, so you can watch it if you don't know to hear my melancholic musical voice. In this video, I will mainly talk about things that interest me at the moment, doing this because I think it's relaxing and use it as a bit of art therapy, even though my work is, well, art related. Well, this is the first thing I will talk about is the last movie I watched, where there's Mikey 17 and Conclave. Two very different films, but both extremely high quality for different reasons, yet equally enjoyable. This isn't a review or a critique, it's just my opinion, and there won't be any spoilers since I know they are fairly recent films. I just want to share my first impressions where they are still fresh in my mind. I really enjoyed them. I saw the film in its original version, since in my country you also have the option to see dub. And the first thing that I was surprised me was actor Robert Pattinson's voice. I didn't know he could modulate his voice like that. It was also true that the most recent film I've seen with him were The Lighthouse and Batman, both which I recommend. His voice already gives you the feeling that he's a bit of a loser. However, you empathize with him very quickly, I swear. All the characters seems very archetypical at the beginning, and remember it's based on a short novel, okay? But by the end of the film you realize that they all have more complex personality than they initially seem. The film is very entertaining. It has a narrative in the beginning of setting up context and returning to the present, and from there all the action takes place. Maybe it's just me, but I have the feeling that the main bad guy in the film is a parody of certain current politicians and rich people, although that's just my perception. And editing this, no, it wasn't my perception. It's confirmed that it's based in a real person, at least what I read. Well, I really like the creature design and the ambient, but the most cute thing in the creatures what the little fits they have. I remember see those kind of feet in Jeff from Marvel Rivals, and maybe that's only because I'm literally obsessed with Marvel Rivals right now, but I love that kind of little creatures that only make cute sounds. But well, returning with the characters, I am not gonna say any names because, well, one of the main characters who I can say much about spoiling is Mikey's love interest. My perception of her goes through so many phases. At first she seems perfect, stunning, then she starts to kind of feel of cringe, a total red flag, and even bad vibes. But later, after certain events, she turns into a heroine. And by the end of the movie, I find myself having her as charming and amazing again, despite having witness sides on her that are honestly terrifying. Her obsession with Mikey wasn't just about him, it was an unhealthy fixation of his entire being. Well, you will see what I mean in the movie. But without the above, The best character is Mikey. His personality seems simple, yet we realize he actually has so many layers in his personality. Well, it's true that in the novel Mikey doesn't die 17 times, far actually. This plays a huge role in shaping who he is. Mike in 17 is submissive yet charming, a little slow but intelligent at the same time, resigned and grateful, having no true terror. The detail we see throughout the entire movie are subtle and brilliant, from the symbolisms to the detailed literal elements. Well, it's true that this movie is from the same director as Parasite, and that I absolutely love Mike in 17. It didn't leave me as stunned as Parasite did. It's a film with a very few paces, packed with information, yet I wouldn't say call it fast paces. Many people divide it into two acts, with the second one being more predictable, but honestly I enjoyed both. In fact, I will say I like the joke and the humor in the second act more than in the first. Yes, the first act keeps us more curious because everything feels new and unpredictable, but it's the way the events unfold in the second act that really makes them compelling, okay? I also have to say I'm not a film expert. I just like what I like and I go with my feelings. From the same director, we have Memories of Murder, which has been praised as one of his best films. And honestly, I agree, it's fantastic, but the ending left me so unsatisfied, frustrated, anxious, and with this awful tingling sensation inside that I was straight up got mad. Like, my spirit watching it was great the whole time, but the moment it ended, I just blurted out like, well, I didn't like it. And it was only because of the ending, because at that moment I was genuinely angry about the movie. And as you can see, I have a serious problem with open endings. They give me so much anxiety to the point where my two little neurons desperately needs closure just so I can produce some serotonin. Well, but let me talk about this movie in a less mysterious and serious way and born from my own personal opinion. So here's the thing. Even since I was a teenager, I never liked Twilight. Okay, you know already why I'm saying this. It was this crazy obsession among so many girls I knew at the time, and honestly, I wasn't just into it. And Robert Pattinson, I didn't find him attractive at all at that time, I'm sorry. But now, in this movie, oh, absolutely, totally my type. And minor spoiler, he looks insanely hot when he puts Naomi so on. That being said, considering my taste in many close Denji from Chainsaw Man, my opinion is probably completely invalid. But now I'm gonna add some pictures because I'm really bad remember names of actors, so I'm not gonna make you pause the video to look for them. I will put the images for you. I don't like Henry Cavill. I'm sorry, he will be perfect for my mom, but not for me. I'm just into those kind of actors called hot ugly or maybe not so handsome actors. Also, some of the people on the list here are super famous and obviously considered super attractive. So, James Aboy, Dan Stevens, Michael Cera, Pedro Pascal, Cillian Murphy, Benedict Cumberbatch, I'm sorry if I don't say the name perfect, Tom Hiddleston, Angus Cloud, then I feel sad when I remember him, rest in peace baby, Will Poulter, oh my god, with Adam Warlock outfit, Martin Freeman, Evan Peters, Aaron Taylor Johnson, but not like this. I find them super attractive. Well, sure, most of them are considered super handsome, but they're not always the obvious first choice for everyone, at least for people of my age. But honestly, even weren't saying this. Robert Pattinson has earned his place a phenomenal actor. He's taken on such wildly different roles and delivered such incredible performances that, for me, his vampire era is nothing more than a distant memory. And after Mikey in 17, I watched Conclave. Honestly, the best political film I've seen in a long time. The performances from everyone were absolutely brilliant. The history keeps you on edge the entire time. You genuinely don't know what is going to happen until the very end. And the final twist? Completely unexpected. At least for me. But aside from the plot, what I loved the most in this was the cinematography. It's stunning. No matter where you pause the movie, every single frame looks like it belongs in an oil painting. My favorite shot's probably the one where they're standing between two rows of white columns, or the umbrella scenes. Conclave feels like a modern cult classic to me. In fact, it even won the Oscar for the best adapted screenplay, though, to be fair, my opinion of the Oscar at this point is really, really low. I mean, they nominated Emilia Perez in multiple categories when its overall quality is just meh or worse. And I say worse because at least this meme song Ayúdame, yo tengo muchos quereres is good and you can remember it, where is the song in Emilia Perez at completely forgettable and just plain bad. Even I, who consider myself 100% useless when it comes to filming and lighting, would have made more aesthetic sense than the hospital scenes in Emilia Perez. The lighting made everyone look sick. Remember me to Valencia Underground? Well, you know. Honestly, I don't have many movies to compare Conclave to. I said at the beginning that Conclave is a political movie because that's how I see it, even if its central theme is religious. For those who don't know what it's a conclave, a gathering of the cardinals of the Catholic Church assembled to elect a pope. Basically, an election. I can hardly talk about the movie without revelating characters who may not seem very relevant at first, but end up covering major surprises. I will just say that, surprisingly, women are not let out of the spotlight. They are bearing magnificent performances. Rolf Fiennes, the main character actor, gives a subtle and sublime performance as a patient, intelligent, and a fair man. The only other movie I can think of that's related to politics is Shin Godzilla. A while ago, I tried watching Shin Godzilla after seeing Godzilla -1, which I loved, but Shin Godzilla was just so slow that I straight up fell asleep. The heavy political focus when all I wanted was to see a giant lizard destroying the city was just a big no for me. I do want to give it another chance, but I have no idea what kind of mood so I'll be in to watch it. I almost never fall asleep during movies, but this one, it was feel tedious. The person who recommended me Shin Godzilla was so mad when I told them I fell asleep, but I couldn't help it. I thought I would ask my friend if they have ever fallen asleep watching a movie, and there the answer. Lord of the Rings. Well, that's because he is a super fan, and obviously he used it as comfort movie. James Bond, all of the James Bond movies. Oppenheimer, practically at the finals, and he was really tired. Blair, Witch Project, Good Fathers, and Cars 1, apparently when he was a child. And what about you? Have you ever fallen asleep while watching a movie? This is a question I'm asking so you can write your answer in the comments, otherwise it just feels like I'm talking to my 4 closest friends. And trust me, they already have to endure my movie opinions every time we have a coffee. So subscribe and all that stuff YouTubers usually ask for, so I don't starve and can keep getting commission to create my art. And if you hate me, go ahead and hit a dislike too. I really couldn't care less because it's not like I expect to make a living off YouTube anyway. Well, I'll know that if I speak too freely, YouTube will cancel my account in seconds. I mean, I'm the kind of person who sends you the weirdest question in 2 a.m. on WhatsApp. And if I talk about movies, it's because I genuinely believe that if you appreciate a good film, we could probably have something to discuss. That being said, if you don't like the substance, you don't deserve the air you're breathing. So, we can consider Letterboxd a cultural tool for segregating people? Maybe. We can apply this to music too. Maybe it's just me, but there's a certain artist that I consider a major red flags. If a 13 years old girl tell me her favorite artist is that, Taylor Swift, for example, I will think her taste is questionable, but hey, she's a kid. However, if you're a full-grown Disney adult and your favorite artist is Taylor Swift, I might actually be a little scared if we have ever locked in the same room. Well, let's say I have to admit there was a time when I was walking red flag when it came to music. The combination of Green Day, My Chemical Romance, Black Sabbath, Evanescence, and the Sex Pistols led me with no other option than be a fucking rebellious maniac capable of running your life in 3 seconds. But I still listen to them, but at least now my emotional intelligence is a little bit more coherent. It's funny how certain personality archetypes seems to hold true, at least in my country. For example, the otaku type guy who looks like he's sours but whose favorite song is Gimme Chocolate by Baby Metal. He might just be the kind of person who genuinely believes that washing your hair with shampoo is a conspiracy created by pharmaceutical companies. Another example, people who listen to movie soundtracks. They probably have deep-seated daddy issues or can only feel sexually aroused after reading handwritten manuscript by castrated monks while a woman performs a turkey dance, shipping white from the 1800s. Look, I'm exaggerating all of this, but the funniest part, every single time I have mentioned it, someone has gone, wow, I never thought about it, but you are absolutely right. Here's something about music I would love to do. Listen to it in chronologically correct order. I mean, starting with the kind of music that would have been recreated in the earliest days of humanity in caves, all the way up to today. To make it feel more authentic, it would be interesting to include bards who actually sing badly, or religious chants from different parts of the world. After all, music wasn't the same everywhere, even in the same era. I have always wanted to play the glass harmonica. I'm not sure if it has a specific name in English. I have always loved it because of the mad sense in the opera Lucia di Lammermoor. In the end, these kind of questions are dangerous. What if the music that actually historically accurate for ancient Egypt isn't what we think it was? And no, I'm not talking about the Prince of Egypt musical, which has an amazing soundtrack. Or what if our idea of desert music is completely skewed by video games? And that was just one example. After all, no one really questioned what aquatic music should sound like. But what if we actually discover is something like this? and not like this. But who I am to talk about music? The only instrument I actually like is the piano. I played it for many years, but thanks to the house crisis and the fact that I live in a showbox with 5 other people, I don't exactly have space for one. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video, my random ramblings, and that is not it's been in 15 countries because my accent accidentally butchered some forbidden word that YouTube video hates. Anyway, see you next time, Space Cowboy.